What's up, Metal Brethren? Scott Tanic1 coming at you again live from the dungeon and with a new Danzig disc getting ready to drop this week. I figured I'd go ahead and do an entire discography review of this band. Now, it's going to be quite a bit of a discography. He's got quite a few albums out right now. I believe 9, counting the EP and the Lost Tracks compilation. Before I get started and jump into the discography, you guys already know that I did a artist review on the 3 stages of Danzig's musical career. Knowing that he's definitely my favorite musician of all time, I champion pretty much his entire catalog. But, the reason why I'm doing this is kind of get everybody else who's not really into Danzig up to speed on his discography. Kind of try to turn some new people on to Danzig if you haven't really heard all of his work. Obviously, I believe almost everyone has heard the song Mother. If you haven't heard that song, you really need to kind of, like I always say, crawl out from underneath that rock that you're living under and check out some stuff. That being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it with the very first Danzig album, Danzig 1. Now, Danzig 1 came out in 1988. It was, after the dissolution of Sam Hain and when Glenn and company got signed to Rick Rubin's Deaf American label. It's got the classic lineup. Glenn Danzig, of course, Chuck Biscuits on drums, John Christ on guitar, and Eerie Vaughn on bass, who was also in Sam Hain. Now, like I said in my artist review, Rick Rubin tried to craft himself a little punk rock supergroup here, and the resulting factor was Danzig. I'm just going to go ahead and just get into some of the tracks here for you guys because this is a debut album that I really think is great. Honestly, I came into Danzig right around 1990. Believe it or not, the first Danzig solo disc that I owned was Danzig 1. I've went through 3 or 4 copies since then, but let's go ahead and get into some tracks. The title track, actually not the title track, the track that kicks this off, Twisted Cane, is one of those that was left over from Sam Hain. Great stuff. Not of This World, the second track on this album, is just amazing. Now, knowing that this is the first offering by Danzig's new solo project, there's still a little bit left to be desired, but at the same time, I think it's a great first offering. Some more tracks: Soul on Fire, Am I Demon, The Infamous Mother, Possession, The End of Time, Hunter, Evil Thing. I think every track on this is awesome, but at the same time, this record I don't think is a really good representation of what Danzig's solo band was capable of. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this disc. It's got a special place in my heart, being the fact it was the first Danzig album I owned. I bought it at a Walmart on cassette, believe it or not, and I just loved it. Just dove right into this artist. That being said, again, I'm going to go ahead and rate Danzig 1 for you guys. I believe Danzig 1 is a very solid disc. It's got a special place for me. That's why it'll probably get a higher score than probably what it deserves. But I'm going to go ahead and give it 4.5 out of 5, being the fact that this one has a special place in my heart. It was my first offering by Danzig that I ever owned. I ever purchased with my own money. Excuse me. I mowed some lawns, actually, to get the money to buy this on cassette. It was like $11 or something when I first bought it, and this was back in 1990, quite a few years ago. So, if you haven't heard it, I know everyone's probably heard Mother. I think everyone has heard Mother. That song really got famous 5 years after this beast came out. So, a little bit of info for you guys. Again, Danzig 1, it's worth picking up if you want to get into Danzig. This is a good record to do so. But, let me know what you guys think, Go ahead and hit me up down here in the comments. Like and subscribe if you like. And I'll come back to you with even more of the Danzig discography. So stay tuned, metal brethren. Later on.